DZMJ. This is FJ Alwina Balaguer, and we will interview the newly appointed Secretary of the Department of Agrarian Reform, Secretary John Castriciones. DZMJ. Yung first questions ko po, in preparation of the 30th anniversary ng CARP, ano po yung magiging pipeline program nyo as new Secretary of the Department of Agrarian Reform?
Well, actually, since it's the 30th anniversary,
yes,
and we all know that the CARPER laws already expired, in view or in pursuant to the directives of the President, particularly the second phase of the Agrarian Reform Program, we are actually coming up with an executive order in compliance with the President's directive. This covers government-owned lands. Because the President has said so in the CLOA distribution in Mulanay, that the government-owned lands, particularly military reservations,
in Mindanao,
not only in Mindanao, throughout the Philippines, to include forests and mountains which have already been utilized as agricultural land. In other words, there are already farmers utilizing the same. And it has remained idle for the longest time. Will now be distributed to farmer beneficiaries. And the only stumbling block is that most of these lands have been allocated to some government institutions. A case in point, for example, the land in Dapicol, Davao Penal Colony, that is supposed to be for the purpose of the creation of penal institutions, but they have not utilized the whole area. These are thousands and thousands of hectares. They only have utilized a portion of the area. So there is it's not really a quarrel, but it's some sort of a delay on the basis that this government institution does not want to immediately turn it over for purposes of agrarian reform. But in view of the pursuant to the directive of the President, we have to really get hold of it. So we have prepared an executive order which the President would have to sign. And if he does sign it, there will be so many government-owned lands which remains idle and have not been utilized by these government institutions for the purpose they were allocated or they were desegregated, but are now actually being used by farmers as agricultural lands. We will cover this as an area for purposes of distribution. That's one. Number two, we are coming up with some programs that will further enhance support to our farmer beneficiaries. Because we all know that as far as DAR is concerned, we have been reaching out to agrarian reform beneficiary organizations. However, what the President wanted was that we give direct support to the ordinary single farmers through credit facilities, which they have not been extended because of their status, and they don't have any property to use as a collateral, or they don't have any fixed income, so to speak. The President was
hamper.
Yeah, because they cannot avail of credit facilities in that way. But now, I have already coordinated with Land Bank. During the last meeting with Land Bank, of which I am a director also, I called the attention of the President of Land Bank and also the other directors that we should incorporate into the program the directive of the President that we should extend credit facilities to the farmer beneficiaries in a very simplified manner, without the need of so many requirements, of so many requisites, which the farmers cannot, of course, accomplish or cannot. Okay, so that will be, and it will be announced, hopefully, in the forthcoming CLOA distribution in Nueva Vizcaya. There's a tentative CLOA distribution in Nueva Vizcaya.
What date?
Well, it was tentatively dated at June 13, but I think Malacanang has already called up that they're asking for they would prefer another date. So that is it. And another one is we're coming up with a housing project for farmers. Housing, because the idea there is that we would like to to approach the problem of farmers on the basis of the family. Because sometimes the whole family is too dependent on the farmer himself. And sometimes they are disoriented because they don't have any common goal at all. So much so that sometimes the wife has to go abroad to become an OFW. The children have to go to urban areas to look for works and jobs. And so the farmer is left alone on his own, only to be frustrated when they come back that they already have different kinds of orientations. The wife is already having another affair, another family to take care of. So that's the idea. Whereas if we create a house for them, there will be a unified approach of trying to develop the family on the economic situation on the context of a family. So we are entering into some sort of a convergent program with, let's say, TESDA on how to train the wife to be engaged in a livelihood or in a training, so much so that she will be able to contribute to the development of the economic status of the family and the children as well, by encouraging them to study, but their studies must be focused on, let's say, agricultural, related to agriculture. Huwag na kukunin yung ano. Kasi wala akong jacket na ano. Humihiram lang ako ng jacket. So that is the idea. So if they will fuse all their efforts to develop their farm, and they will love it because they will have a house of their own, then I'm sure we will become successful. Because, you know, as I have been previously mentioning in all my speeches, the farmers' average age is now 57 years old. So they're too old already. So, and then most of the mindset of our farmers is that they would like their children to study, finish college, and then after leave farming. So what will happen to our farmers? We will be left with no people tending to our farms, so we will have a problem on food sufficiency.
And our backbone is agriculture.
We are an agricultural country, no doubt. We cannot say that we are an industrialist country. No, we are not. And most of the industrialist countries, they have to have a strong agricultural economy before they can become an industrialist country. So those are the thrusts that I'm going to focus on. And not only that, the President has also made mention that we have to enhance the support services to our farmer beneficiaries. And we are doing that because he made mention in Sultan Kudarat, wherein he said that he would want to see all agrarian reform beneficiary organizations to have at least 2 tractors of their own, that they have fertilizers, they have high-yielding variety of crops and seeds by those guidelines. I mean by those policy directives that the President has actually given us. So that's how it's going to be. Now, with regards to Boracay, because Boracay is a hotly contested issue at this point in time, the President has already declared Boracay as a land reform area. So all that we have to do is to come up with a final plan. And I think Sec has already extensively discussed with you. We have the phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. And in order to implement this, we will have some documents duly signed by the President through an executive order. And likewise, we are coming up with a bill. I have a copy of the bill here, and it will be proposed to the President because he said that he wanted a second phase of the Agrarian Reform Program. Because we all know that Republic Act 9700, which is the Carper Law, has already expired. Last way back 2014. But he wants another phase of the Agrarian Reform Program. So depending on the President's decision, if he says so that we have to have another second phase of the Agrarian Reform Program, then we will comply. As faithful soldiers of the President, we will comply.
It appears that the figure now is 25 hectares that can be immediately placed under agrarian reform, meaning these agricultural lands have no structures. It can immediately be made productive by the would-be farmer beneficiaries. With respect to the beneficiaries, as we mentioned during the past conferences also, we said that based on the pronouncement of the President, the primary or the priority beneficiaries would be the indigenous peoples. In this case, in Boracay Island, are the Atis o yung Aitas. Yun po ang magiging beneficiary. Now, we also made mention that based also from informants, there are around 80 farmer beneficiaries na mga Aitas na can be subject to screening, and the immediate beneficiary of these 25 hectares.
You just heard the insight and the new program of the new Secretary of the Department of Agrarian Reform, John Castriciones, and we will be excited to join the program of the Department of Agrarian Reform. Again, this is MJ of Pinabalagar on DZMJ Online.